What? My name's Holly, and I have something called Tourette's syndrome. And what that is, it's a neurobiological disorder where my body sends mixed signals, or my brain sends mixed signals to my body, telling me to do things I don't want to do. What? All of these movements and noises are completely involuntary. I don't want to do them. I really don't. A lot of people think that a lot of kids just want attention. And I say kids because it usually dissipates throughout adulthood. Not always, but usually. Yeah. Like, I have had teachers where they just sit there and look at me and they're like, stop doing that. I'd love to, but I can't. So, it's really hard, especially when you're, what? Especially if the people who think that you're either faking it or that you can help it, or think that you can help it, or like they really think that you just want attention. People that are ignorant like that, it's hard when you're around those people daily. Like, I had a friend who completely and totally thought I just wanted attention, and a lot of people have had it since I've had it since I was born because it's inherited. You're born with it. You can't catch it. But a lot of people are like, oh well, I've had to live with it my entire life. I've lived with it my entire life. I haven't shown symptoms since I was in seventh grade though. Like that's the first time I started showing things. It also causes me to stutter a little bit. Most people don't, but I do. And a lot of people's first tick was the eye blinking, like which kind of looks normal. So that's a tick I can hide easily. But mine started with a head jerk. Like I would sit there and jerk my head really hard, and it hurt. But that was my first tick, which was a little extreme for a first tick. But what? No, no. But one of my things is I pick up like people with Tourette's. If they watch videos of other people with Tourette's, they can pick up their ticks. Or if you see somebody doing something and you just sit there and watch them do it, and like that's just like why do they do that? Why do they do that? Why do they do that? Like I saw a kid and he would sit here and go, and he just felt like doing it all the time. He didn't have Tourette's. He just liked to do it, and I picked it up for a tick as a little bit. Like I would sit here and go. That's kind of a weird tick, but that finally went away. And people with Tourette's can pick up ticks very easily, but I'm a lot more susceptible. I don't know why, but a lot of times no, if I do watch a video of someone with Tourette's, which I do, because it relates to me. But on YouTube, I'll sit there and watch people with Tourette's, and I pick up ticks very, very easily. If I watch a video of somebody and like there are a lot of common ticks like the eye rolling and the eyebrows and the mouth, scrunching your nose, like elbows or not elbows, shoulders. That's another tick. I throw my arms out. But there are a lot of common ticks like that. So if I haven't already picked up the tick and I'm watching like a video of someone with a tick, I'll probably pick up at least like one tick because I pick up ticks so easily. I can watch people do things that aren't ticks and I'll pick it up as a tick, and it really is bothersome because people are like, "Oh, you're just copying me." Seriously, no. But um it's you can't help it. It's not something you want to do. I don't know a lot of people that chop what that want to walk around making funny movements and making loud noises or things. Like I don't know very many people that want to do that. And so it kind of bothers me when people are like, "Oh, you just want attention." I don't want attention. Not like this. Why would I want attention for making loud noises? Like no. A lot of people think that you can help it. You can't. You can kind of suppress your tics for a little bit, and you cannot do them. Like, chop, what? It's, you can suppress them to where they don't happen for a little while, but eventually it's gonna come out. It's like a cough. If you have to cough, but you don't, but you're in a place where you shouldn't, you can hold it in for a little while. You can just be like, But eventually, you're either A, going to cough, which is most common, or B, it will subside. Doesn't subside very often. It usually comes out. You can make it come out quieter. Yeah. But usually it's gonna come out and you can't help it. So that's what I relate tics to, is a cough. But it's a hard thing to live with, depending on the severity. Like I have a couple friends with Tourette's. And I know one of them is a male and his only tics are the eyes. Sorry, I had to pop my ear. But like that's his only motor tic. Well, no, he has his eyebrows. That. And he has two vocal tics. Clearing his throat or grunting. How noticeable is that? If you're like every day around people and you're like talking, having a conversation, you're not gonna notice if they blink funny or if they raise their eyebrows all the time. Well, he doesn't do it all the time, but if they raise their eyebrows weird every now and then, or if they clear their throat, that's not unusual. They're common tics, and it's just like people's mannerisms. Like some people just do that because that's what they like. That's just them. They clear their throat a lot. Oh well. But other people, it's a tic and they have Tourette's. And like that doesn't affect his life, but then there are people who like have full body spasms and throw themselves on the ground and just scream at the top of their lungs for tics. And they have a really hard time with it, and I don't know how they get through it. No, I wouldn't be able to get through it. I really don't know what I would do if mine got that bad. I have a pretty moderate to severe case, but I take medication to calm it down. So it's not as bad bad as it was. Chop chop what? But Tourette syndrome is something everyone needs to know about because you can't hide it. You really can't unless you have a very like mild case. But if you have a case that's even moderate like mine or even like less severe than mine, but if you make a noise that is loud, chop chop, like let's say you only have two vocal tics, one's clearing your throat and one's screaming a word, not profanity. Most people with Tourette's do not scream profanity. Only 10 to 15%. It's called corporalia. Don't think everyone with Tourette's has it because most of them don't. But whether it's like screaming just a random word, like okay, there's a video. It's called it's by HBO. It's I have Tourette's, but Tourette's doesn't have me. And in the thing, it chop chop what? Like whether you scream that, but in the thing, he screams metal and then he screams coffee. Like it's a word, but it's not profanity, it's not a slanderous word or anything. It's just like you can't hide that though. If you're sitting there screaming in a store, chop chop. Like if I do that in a store, people are gonna look. You can't hide it, and people need to know what it is because a lot of people with Tourette's do. Excuse me. A lot of people with Tourette's, it is hard. You can't hide it. So when people look at you, it is kind of hard because it's not like a one-time thing where like, oh look, someone's staring at me. Like, chop, chop! Like, if you're wearing two different shoes, they're gonna look at you, but, like, that's not something you have to deal with every day, every minute. Like, if I walk through a store, I get people staring at me, and I get managers coming up to me and asking me to stop. Have you ever had that happen? I have. And you know, it really hurts my feelings because I can't help it, and I do think people need to be educated about it because if you're out in public and people are sitting there looking at you, it's going to hurt your feelings. Day in, day out, people stare at you because you're doing something you can't help. It wears you down. But number one, if you have Tourette's, you need to stay positive because if you have a defeatist attitude, well, you're not going to get anywhere because you have to be positive. Otherwise, it's like most people should stay positive, but it's even worse because we have a challenge. But if people knew about it and they didn't sit there and give you dirty looks in the middle of a store, then it would be a lot easier. Chop, chop! Because it would be a little bit more accepted if more people knew about it. And if you have Tourette's syndrome and someone in a store is looking at you with a dirty look, obviously, if you're like in the dead middle of a store and there's 20 people looking at you, don't do it then. But if you're in an aisle and one person is sitting there looking at you rudely, this is what I do. And I know a lot of people have Asperger's because it's a related disorder with Tourette's, but just try it. It'll help you with that too. Um, go up to them. If they even look at you, not even a dirty look, but especially if they give you a dirty look, go up to them and just explain to them what it is. Just do it. It really does help. It makes you feel better. Just be like, excuse me, like whether it's a, I'm gonna say it's a man. Excuse me, sir. I noticed you were staring at me. And it's even better when you tick in the middle because it's really funny. But excuse me, sir. I noticed what that you were staring at me, and I want you to know something. And they'll look at you like you're insane. So you sit there and say, I have a disorder called Tourette's syndrome, and just explain to them what Tourette's is. And that way, you have done your part in educating someone. Now, next time they probably won't ever hear it again. But if they do and they hear it, they will know what it is and they won't give them dirty looks and they won't hurt another kid's feelings with Tourette's. So, if you see someone, just do that. Do it. And if you don't have Tourette's, thank you for watching this video just to educate yourself on it. Thank you so much because educating people really is what needs to happen. Thank you. Ja, ja!